I'm putting on my top hat, tying up my white tie, brushing up my tail. Oh,
Welcome to Hatcast,
the podcast about hats.
I'm Charles Bourbon.
And I'm Carl Bernhardson.
And you're the listener.
We hope.
Anyone hearing this is the listener.
True, even if it is like a computer that is checking content. Or...
I don't know if they do that yet.
Do they?
I would still consider that computer a listener.
That's true.
Computer, right in. And we're here to talk about hats.
Yes, hats.
That's right, computer. If you were looking for someone talking about something easily monetizable or something that can be used for search engine optimization,
you're in the wrong place.
That's right. We're talking about hats. Now, sometimes I'm sure people Google hats or search for hats on the internet, or both at the same time, in fact. However,
in our experience, it's very difficult to monetize hat-based things.
Oh, we haven't really tried very hard.
No.
But we're here to talk about hats. And the first thing we always do, and we're not even just here to talk about the greatest hits of hatdom.
No, we oftentimes talk about hat flops, if you will. And floppy hats from time to time.
Yeah, but I think today we have within its small purview a kind of story of hat triumph. It is brimming over with triumph.
I'm not sure where the triumph is.
It is a crowning achievement. Well, I'll explain how I think so. But first, let's talk about the hats that we wore today.
Yes. So I'll start.
Oh, please.
Because I was outside doing some repairs on my roof because it's been raining a lot, and I've had water coming in a small amount. It's not like a river of water, but there's a leak in the attic.
I think you can just say river. You don't need to say a river of water.
That's true. Well, you could be a river of blood or
yes, but
honey.
You say that because by default a river is of water.
Right.
And if you have, for some reason, a variant or varietal river of some other nature.
Right. In any case, I was on my roof. It's been raining a lot lately. It wasn't raining today. I wanted a hat that would keep the sun out of my eyes and the back of my neck from being burnt. So I went into my hat room and I picked out a suitable hat. And it's one that I don't think I look good in. But
you look fine.
I wasn't wearing it for style. I was wearing it purely for practicality. It is the bucket hat. Yes, I wore my tan-ish, maybe. In this light, it looks olive green, but I know it's not. Outside, it's definitely much more of a tan color. Bucket hat. It's round. It has a brim all the way around it, and it's got some holes for ventilation. It did its job. I wore it.
Is that your only bucket hat?
At this point in time, yes, it's my only bucket hat.
Well, I think it served its purpose well. It's a fine-looking example of a bucket hat.
It is certainly a bucket hat.
Yes. My hat today is not a bucket hat.
It's absolutely wonderful. I've never seen this one before. It was mentioned on last week's episode, I believe.
Yes.
It's perfect, and I mean to buy one as soon as I can for myself because it is very sharp-looking.
Yep, it's a red flat-cap shaped hat made of mesh. And I don't even know exactly what the material is that this mesh is made of.
It doesn't seem to say, does it?
Yeah, and it just says it's made by PGA Tour Ram Golf Corp. Or distributed by them.
It is definitely a hat one would wear when golfing.
Yes, but one can wear it while also not golfing. And it's very comfortable and very cool, even in the summer, while still looking like a decent kind of hat one could wear.
Yeah, I mean, I love the knit on it, and it's got a nice sort of knotted pattern in there as
maroon,
well.
Yeah.
And the color's fantastic. Yeah, it's maroon, just like the chairs that we sit in when we record Hatcast that the listeners will never see.
That's right. Well, unless it's a listener like Jacob, who was here.
True. Listener guests got to see.
That's right, yes. So yeah, I'm very happy. And I was inspired to pull this hat out by our episode last week with our letter from a listener who wears this kind of hat, and I'm going to start wearing it more. See, listeners, if you write into us, you can influence not only the program, but us ourselves and how we conduct our hat-wearing lives.
It's really becoming a little community of hats. Emphasis on little, but a community nonetheless.
And the people who put them on their heads.
Yes. Well, I didn't imagine like Hat Town, inhabited entirely by anthropomorphic hats.
Oh, they always listen to Hatcast.
Yes.
But speaking of our listeners,
correspondence.
Yes, we've had some from one of them today.
Good.
Let's look at it. This is from our listener Scott.
Okay, a regular correspondent at this point.
Yes, and he says, "I hope this email finds you well. I myself enjoy a constant state of frivolity and jollity. I attribute this to good health and my 10 commandments for living well. Number 1, have respect for everyone and everything. 2, aggress against no one. Number 3, work hard. Number 4, be loyal. Number 5, be a mentor. Number 6, eat well, exercise. Number 7, be honest. Number 8, give to charity or community. Number 9, speak respectfully in public and in private. Number 10, dress well. This 10th commandment for living well includes proper headgear. The hat not only protects the head and body, but also conveys authority or status as well as projecting style and panache. Enclosed, please find a photo of myself in my Resistol Western hat. This is a more casual model compared to a previous photo wherein I was donning a Stetson to go out on the town. As always, please keep the podcast coming. Hatcast's #1 fan, Scott the Mailman Leslie." And here he is with an excellent hat on his head.
It is fantastic.
Very brooding kind of photo.
It
very
is.
Stylish kind of picture. Maybe this would be, I picture this as Scott's album cover, perhaps, if he launches a musical.
Right, or the author photograph on the back of a book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good picture.
If you wrote a thriller or something, this could be the picture. And it is a tan cowboy hat with one of those brims that has the deep swoop down to it.
Yes, I like
high
that.
Sides, yeah. And quite an interesting band. It's, is it a buds and vines on that band on a white background?
It does look like it.
It works very well.
It does. It goes very well with the tan color of the hat.
Yeah.
Once again, Scott, thank you very much for writing into us. We appreciate it. And at this point, it's absolutely true. You are our #1 fan.
I think so, yeah.
So.
A #1 in enthusiasm, if nothing else.
Yes.
I don't know who was #1 in
order of becoming a fan.
But that doesn't matter.
No, I also don't think that's what he meant.
No, certainly not. You at this point, we're going to issue you serial #1 in the Hatcast fan club.
Yes. We should print up cards.
Yes.
But thank you, and thank you for the words to live by. It's always appreciated.
What do you think of this credo?
I think that you would be hard-pressed to find anything in there to disagree with. It's a general and good outline for living life.
I think if someone followed this, it would certainly be hard to criticize that person's conduct, don't you think?
Absolutely.
And, of course, we're most concerned with the hat element of the dressing well. But we have respect for everyone and everything, including Scott and this credo for life.
Yes, and thank you for sharing that with us, Scott.
Yes, I think, and with our audience.
Yeah,
yeah,
and with
if
the
everyone
Hatcast
lived
community.
according to these principles, it might be a better world.
I completely agree.
Yeah, and everyone would go around in good hats.
Yeah. And that's a very serious way to start the discussion of a very silly hat.
Frivolous topic, yes. But that's good because, as Scott says, he is in a constant state of frivolity and joviality, which I try to maintain.
I would say you're pretty jolly and frivolous.
Thank you. I don't like to think I'm a very serious kind of...
No, and I don't think that I am as serious as I can come off in person.
I think people tend to think you are more serious than I am.
And I'm not sure why. But...
Well, I think appearances can sometimes lead to conclusions.
Okay.
And I think I look a little less serious than you do.
That's true. I do have very stern, deep-set eyes.
Possibly. I think I have a loud voice and
Right.
have a jolly... I don't know. What
Yeah, jolly demeanor. Yeah.
This is not to place any value on that one way or another, but I wouldn't want to give a false impression and seem serious.
That's true. Whereas I think it's funny to give a false impression and then break that impression at some point within a year.
Yeah. Although I don't know. Maybe I have seemed serious at some point.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't say you are without the ability to seem serious.
You see, I don't know if I don't really enjoy people being intimidated by me.
Right.
Which
well, and something that would not intimidate anybody would be showing up in today's hat, the umbrella hat.
Yeah, which might be a little too unserious for me to wear on a regular basis.
You see, I could see myself wearing it. Honestly, I would wear it out and about in the rain, because it would work, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't, and it is a funny hat.
Right. It is a very funny hat. And unlike some of our hats we've talked about, for instance, the cardboard birthday party hat.
Right.
The umbrella hat has a pretty definite point of origin.
Yeah, there's a specific person who invented it, and we know about that person and where he was and why he did it, which was a big surprise to me. I thought it was some sort of novelty item with a history lost to time, but research has suggested otherwise.
Yeah, it is undeniably a novelty item.
I suppose we should describe it.
Yes, an umbrella hat is, as it sounds like, a cross between an umbrella and a hat. Now, that could mean one of two things. It could be a large hat that you use to keep the rain off. So, for instance, a comically oversized top hat that rolls up to wrap around a cane.
Right.
And then you hit a button and it releases the nylon or silk top hat around a frame, and you hold it over your head.
I guess I would call that more of a hat umbrella.
Yes. But, that I would call that.
And to my knowledge, that doesn't exist. Although, if it does, please let me know.
No,
I'm buying one.
It's much more of a fanciful thing that I've just thought of now when I was thinking of what else an umbrella hat could be. In point of fact, an umbrella hat is a tiny version of the umbrella shape, which is held onto the head with this sort of strap and elastic framework sort of thing.
It kind of works the same way a pith helmet does, but
with an umbrella
with an umbrella instead of a helmet.
Yes. And the thing about them that always makes them a little bit funny or silly is that they are usually about as large as a hat.
Right. They're not, the whole point of an umbrella, right, is that it covers the entire area that your body does, right? So no part of you gets wet.
Right.
Whereas with a hat, the hat will keep your head dry. It'll keep the water out of your eyes and off the back of your neck, but the water is going to run onto some other part of your body.
Yes.
So it does all of the things a hat would do, and only some of the things an umbrella should do.
Right. Now, it doesn't look like a very warm hat, which is good in the summertime.
Right.
But anyway, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read this little article. This is from a site called historylink.org by Paul Dorpat. High in the pantheon of Seattle's eccentrics, Robert W. Patton invented the umbrella hat, the symbol of his celebrity while prospecting in Mexico. Claiming to have scoured the West with Kit Carson, Patton arrived in Seattle in the 1890s. With his burly build, bushy white beard and hair, and rain-repellent headgear, Patton inspired a cartoon strip and became a familiar sight on city streets until his death in 1913.
So Robert Patton.
Yes, he's the inventor of the umbrella hat.
We're looking at a photograph of him here, and he does. He has a big white beard, and a lot of white hair, and
a coat and an umbrella hat on his head. He's smiling cherubically.
Yes.
And he looks like a charming fellow.
And here we have an illustration of him as well. And it's a little bit less generous. He's sort of standing in the rain, and the umbrella hat is not working all that well.
Yes. And here's an advertising card based on him.
It says...
See, let me tell you, there's no straddling of the credit question at Standard. They just fix it so us Seattle folks can get what we want and pay any old time. Great, eh?
So did he become kind of an unofficial mascot of Seattle?
I believe he essentially did, yeah.
Well, that makes sense that it would arise from a city that's known for
its rain, like Binghamton, which is where we are now.
Yeah, I could have used one. I could have worn one. Typically, it's an outside hat, but for a little while, I could have worn it in my house.
Yeah. His hat here was so fitting for the Puget Sound climate that John Ross Doc Hager, a dentist-turned-cartoonist, adopted the whole patent package, hat, looks, cane, and suit, for a new feature in the Seattle Times. Beginning in 1909, Doc's Umbrella Man sport dispensed folk wit and weather forecasts from the newspaper's front page. Patton regaled locals with colorful tales of his life. After running away from home at the age of 9, he said he eventually wound up living with the Winnebago Indians and was adopted by Big Chief John. He roamed the plains with the chief's daughter and later hunted and traded with Kit Carson. It was during these times that Patton claimed he single-handedly saved the famous explorer John Fremont and his men from certain death during a winter storm in the Rockies. Such heroics were not lost on his friends Abraham Lincoln and Ulysses S. Grant, who, Patton said, made him their chief U.S. scout. He held this exalted position until the Civil War's end, when he surrendered the honor to Buffalo Bill Cody. I think this is according to Patton.
Yes.
I don't know how true this was.
If I had to venture a guess, I would say very untrue.
I mean, he was a crazy old man with an umbrella on his head, so
yes,
his word may have been in doubt. While in Seattle, Patton worked as a fix-it man, with umbrellas, of course, his specialty. He also drew a small Civil War pension. He lived on a Lake Union houseboat, an experience he believed should qualify him to serve as Seattle's harbor master. The city government was unpersuaded. The Umbrella Man died in 1913 at the age of 81, not 102, but his legend continues to unfurl.
So it may have been a business move as well, if he was an umbrella repairman.
He was an umbrella repairman. Now, he was the person who made famous the umbrella hat. He was not really the person who invented the umbrella hat, but that we have a record of too.
Really?
In December 1880. Well, Patton claimed he invented the umbrella hat.
Right.
He wasn't the one who patented the umbrella hat.
Well, and you don't have to be the inventor to patent it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
When is this patent, the first patent from?
This patent is dated...
December 1880.
The first patent was December 1880, which is cited here in another patent for an umbrella hat from 1987, it appears.
Okay. Probably an improvement on the original.
Yes. As if that possibly could occur.
Now, is the 1880 patent, was that done by Patton?
No, this appears to be... it must have been submitted in 1880 and patented 1881.
Okay.
Until then it was patent pending. The patent is granted to G.R. Gray.
Okay.
He called it the sunshade hat. Now, that brings up an interesting point.
It is much better suited at shading the sun from your head than keeping water off of your body.
Yes. And it really, perhaps is even better known as a better described as a sunshade hat, because if you were wearing this as rain protection, you're really not doing it well.
No.
The rain is going to get all over the rest of your body. I think it would have a practical application as a sunshade.
Yes, it would successfully shade you from the sun. It would successfully shade you from the sun, and it is light and cool, and it does allow a lot of airflow.
It would shade you from the sun. It would not save you from the shun.
No. It may cause you to be shunned.
It would in fact condemn you to the shun.
But that's the thing. It's for a hat that's from the 1880s. Mm-hmm. You do see it around from time to time. Well, I have seen people wearing them.
To come back around, this is why I was going to say this is a story of surprising quixotic triumph. I'm sorry, quixotic triumph. That's one of those words that I've always mispronounced because I learned what Don Quixote was before I learned the word quixotic.
Right.
And because this was really promulgated by an eccentric person who was mocked roundly for it.
Although sort of adopted as
an affectionate mascot. He was sort of an Emperor Norton-y kind of
we'll
figure.
have to talk about Emperor Norton.
Oh, he
wore
a notable hat.
He wore a bicorn, right?
Yeah, I think he did, if I remember right.
No, it is a success. They are manufactured today. You buy them. You see them sometimes when weathermen are pretending to be silly.
You can buy them anywhere you like.
Yeah.
Not anywhere, but in many places. In many beach holiday kind of stores.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an image of Bill Murray playing golf.
And he's wearing his umbrella hat.
He's wearing an umbrella hat while he does it. It is probably shading his head from the sun.
It's almost certainly working. I will say, the modern umbrella hat that you're likely to encounter is a little different than Patton's. Patton's seems to be a black umbrella, sort of your traditional dressy umbrella.
Well, he's in a black and white picture, but it's certainly a dark umbrella. It might have been a green or blue umbrella.
Right, but it appears to be all one color. Now, if you encounter them, they always seem to have many different colored panels.
Yes, and I think, to be honest, that is to make them look as silly as possible.
Yes.
Here's one that's Canada themed, that is red and white, but in general they're rainbow colored, like those rainbow umbrellas you sometimes see.
Right.
To try to make you look as silly as possible. We're looking at images of people wearing them, and here's a fellow looking very happy wearing one on the beach.
Yep.
And I was about to say, the beach is probably the best. Here's another one on a beach, and this is more of a stylish one, and sort of a...
No, it's not that stylish, it's camo.
Yeah, you're right. I thought it was a swirly pattern.
I thought it was floral at first, yeah.
But if you're going to wear one, a beach is probably the best locale. And if I was going to think of where they are selling one...
It would be at a beach.
Probably at a beach shop near
Yep.
the beach, where they sell the sun lotion and...
other beach things. Buckets and pails and towels and sunglasses. Although you wouldn't need sunglasses if you were wearing this. It's kind of... It folds, right? I've never seen one folded up, but I would assume...
We usually mention if we haven't. I've never worn one of these.
Neither have I. I've seen them worn at the beach.
Yeah.
I think at some point in the city I saw one.
I think what it is in a city. Oh my.
Yes, but it was a sort of eccentric person performing.
It signals that, doesn't
yes.
it? They're very cheap. Well, the thing is, what I think it is this. It is an absolute triumph of practicality over style.
Yeah.
And it's making no bones about that. And in order to get away with that, it just says, all right, well, I'm going to look as silly as possible and be multicolored because no one is going to wear this hat and think that they are not looking silly.
Right.
And the beach is a time when people, I think, well, how do people try to look at the beach?
I mean, some people...
I think it goes to two extremes.
Right. People either try to look as good as they can, or they wear the most garish bathing suit they can find and a crazy Hawaiian shirt and goofy sunglasses and an umbrella hat.
Right. Yeah. I think either you're trying to look like some sort of model on the beach.
Right.
Or if you're not going for that, you're all right with looking as goofy and silly as you can because you're on vacation, you're on the beach. If you wear nice clothes, they're going to get covered in sand and salt water and be too hot anyway.
Right. And you're already wearing sandals, so how seriously can anybody take you?
Yes. And that is why vacation apparel includes bright Hawaiian shirts and ostentatious sunglasses and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes comically oversized sunglasses.
Yeah.
Bright beach towels. And people go right off of the beach to the boardwalk, which is full of establishments and businesses and sometimes even cafes.
Right.
And normally you would want to be fully dressed going into a cafe, but it's a beachside establishment, so they know people are coming in looking silly.
Right.
So you might as well look as silly as you can.
Although I would suggest not wearing an umbrella hat would be particularly impractical to wear in a restaurant.
Take it off at the table like any hat.
You would be bumping into the waitstaff and...
Right, yes.
I could see you leaning down to drink your soup and the hat pushes everything off the other side of the table.
Right. Well, maybe it's one of those beachside cafes where the tables are out on the boardwalk.
Right.
And the sun is still beating down on you.
Right. Oh, yeah, nothing worse than dining outdoors and it's sunny. I guess it could be raining or lightning.
You want it to be good weather.
You want it to be, yeah. So.
All right. Let's rate this hat. And I think I've sort of given away my views.
I think that if I had to guess, we don't usually do this, but I'm going to guess your rating.
Yes.
Are you going to give it a 10 on practicality and a 1 on style?
Yes.
Okay.
I need not even say.
Yes. I'm going to differ a little bit. I think that it is actually stylish in its own goofy way, right?
Oh, right, yes.
When in the right place, it could get so far up on the scale as a 3 in stylishness.
All right.
And I think since it does not successfully protect you from the rain, which is what you would expect it to do, even though it is clearly typically used as a sun hat.
Although, let's make no bones about it, it would be really, in most of its uses, better known as a parasol hat.
Yes. But it isn't known as that. It's called an umbrella hat.
Yes.
And so it gets a 9 for practicality. A 3 and a 9.
All right. Which means overall it's a 5.75.
Hey, right down the middle of the road.
Right, but a little bit better than the
a little bit.
road.
Yeah. But that explains its longevity.
Yeah.
And I bet 100 years from today, there will be someone somewhere wearing an umbrella hat.
Oh, I think so. I think it will last. Because...
Hopefully me. Hopefully I live forever.
Yes. So that's the umbrella hat.
Yeah, I am glad we did it. It fits with the weather that we've been having lately.
Yeah. I can't think of a better sun hat for practical purposes. Maybe the pit helmet, actually.
Yeah, the pit helmet might be better. Although this is a lot lighter. Yeah,
But the pit helmet's better for campaigns. The umbrella hat's better for the beach.
Yes, it's very good for the beach.
Because you could wear a bucket hat or a baseball cap to the beach, and it will do fine.
But what's going to illustrate your being at the beach quite as much as a bucket hat?
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, umbrella hat.
Umbrella hat, yes.
Bye.
Get one of those. Bye. But we forgot to mention, if you want to write to us,
You should.
if you're wearing a bucket hat while you do it, we won't even be able to tell. The way to do it is go to a computer, use the keyboard to enter into an email, the email address hatcast@yandex.com. That's hatcast@yandex.com.
We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Remember to put some words in the email, otherwise we won't read it aloud.
Right. And you can put pictures, which we will try to describe.
If it's just a picture, we'll just describe it. Yeah. But if you just send a blank email with nothing else in it, that's pointless. Put something for us to react to in some fashion.
If you'd like, you can put all the words in the subject line. People like that.
No, they don't. Well, maybe 2 people somewhere like it because they're contrary. Bye.
Bye.
Just let a smile be your umbrella on a rainy, rainy day. And if your sweetie cries, just tell her that a smile